All right, hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Brogan, and today we are back for another trading stream. Now today, this is gonna be a good stream. We do have lots to talk about. Not that many tweets. I do have a tweet up, or a few tweets actually. Just want to go over something quickly about obviously DeepSeek last stream, can't remember what stream it was. I think it was last stream. Obviously we talked about DeepSeek and the whole thing going on there. I do have some things I do want to talk about with these tweets here with DeepSeek. Really quickly, move on to CoinMarketCap, and obviously go on to the charts. So we're looking at Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, looking at what we talked about and how is it still holding what we could expect to see in terms of what we talked about. Could we still expect to see it? Are we moving in the right direction? What are we doing? We went up, then we went down, then we've kind of gone up, and now we're coming down again. So now we've basically not changed since the last thing, if you even out all the movements. So we will go over that, and that will probably cover the title of this stream. So I think we should get straight into it. Hello to everyone, welcome to the stream. Glad you guys can make it. Shout out to Kishan, KB. Just go back up in the chat. Bell Rope. Shout out to you guys. Let's just get straight into it. I'm not gonna waffle anymore. I actually need to start timer. Nearly forgot. Let's get straight into it. Today, 2025, year of me not waffling. Let's get straight into it. Boom. First tweet. Breaking news or breaking whatever. DeepSeek is a fraud. It uses open API to ChatGPT. Uses an open API, so basically a connection to ChatGPT, deleting questions immediately after answering to hide its restrictive prompts. It's not real AI, it's manipulation. What else are they hiding? This is kind of an introductory one. The rest of the tweets I have are is my camera lagging? No, okay. The rest of the tweets are also about DeepSeek. This is kind of an introductory one. So the second one we have here is another one. So DeepSeek is a fraud. It says it was trained by OpenAI. When asked about how many individual I assume that says individual GPUs it used, basically they copied ChatGPT. So if you scroll through this big old chunk of text here, I don't have any direct access to hardware specifics such as the number of type of GPUs used for my training or inference. My training was conducted by OpenAI, and they typically use large-scale GPU clusters, often including NVIDIA GPUs, like the A100 or the H100. Basically, this whole, we've made a model, we've done this, we've all done this by ourselves. Us, yes, we, China, we've done this. Or obviously, it's obviously a company which, it represented the power of China, or whatever, is kind of false, So obviously, the whole spiel and kind of why people are not happy with OpenAI, it basically just took information from online and used it for itself. Copyright or not, there's been quite a big thing about OpenAI using copyrighted content on the internet and using that for their model, and it not being kind of paid for or the rights have been properly funded for. I don't know how you word it exactly, but they're using copyrighted content without the permission of the original authors to make ChatGPT models. Now it's kind of a system where OpenAI is taking all this content, and then DeepSeek sitting behind it, taking what OpenAI is now scraping. So it seems like it wasn't as, it wasn't as amazing as they kind of said it to be. It wasn't as cool, wasn't as, triumphant. It just seems like a fine-tuned model of OpenAI. So what it seems is that it's kind of a piggyback on OpenAI, because and obviously trying to think of what they could possibly say to try and defend themselves in terms of, we use DeepSeek to scrape the internet to gather data to train our model. It could have scraped data on OpenAI and used OpenAI's statements of what GPUs they use. They could try and windle their way out of it and try and say, basically, we use the internet and the content on the internet to train our model to give it this, that, the other. And lo and behold, OpenAI is on the internet, so it scraped the data from ChatGPT and stuff. Well, obviously we've got this over here, which I do want to talk about. But again, just to preface that before we get into this last tweet, before we move on, I don't think that's kind of true. I don't really like, if they were to say that, I don't think that's a good excuse. I think this is, especially what we have right now coming up, I don't think is gonna allow them to get out of this situation. So if we see this first tweet before we look at the other one, obviously caption, this is pretty damning. The guy asks, do you have a mobile app to use DeepSeek? I don't have a standalone mobile app, but you can access me through any mobile web browser. Simply visit https://chatgpt.com or the platform you're using to interact with me, like Poe. I don't know what the hell that is. So basically, DeepSeek themselves, or the model through DeepSeek R1, is telling people to go to chatgpt.com to actually use them, which kind of insinuates that there's a heavy amount of training from DeepSeek R1 from ChatGPT, whether that be sources from ChatGPT or using models which are based on the ChatGPT models. It kind of, you know, it's not, it does demerit pretty much everything DeepSeek has said through this. So again, this is another one, maybe by another person. Actually, well, yeah, a different person who's asked the same question as this other guy who's obviously asked, do you have a mobile app? No, I don't have a dedicated mobile app, but it's, again, the same thing of what we just looked at in that screenshot, where I'm hosted OpenAI's ChatGPT interface or other integrated services. So basically, it is a copy of ChatGPT. The data seems like it's copy. Now, again, I don't know exactly what models there are which are open source from OpenAI. I'm actually, you know what? I actually don't know what there is. Maybe you can, I don't know what you can download. I'm not sure what you can locally host from OpenAI. I don't think OpenAI are very open. They say OpenAI. I don't know how open they are. I don't know if you can download models. You can use models, but I don't think you can download. So this is the thing which I'm curious about. Okay, well they have some open source models. Let's more quickly look, because I don't actually know what OpenAI have open sourced and made freely available to people. I don't know. I don't really think there's much. There's not actually much. Well, there's a GPT-3, because a lot of the time when people or big AI, you know, trainers and hosters, they do what's called distilling. They distill the model, which basically kind of shrinks it a bit so it's easier for people to self-host it. But this kind of insinuates that DeepSeek, of all they've done, is kind of gone over to OpenAI, gone, oh, you're really cool. We're just going to take you and then sift it through the washing machine, take it out the other side, and now this is ours. So they've probably got information. They've probably got different things which they've included, especially with their thinking protocol, what they call it, the deep think. I think what they've probably done is just taken a ChatGPT model. They've included this kind of ideology into the model to think aloud, and they've probably optimized it a bit. That's all they've really done. So it doesn't just kind of come out. It doesn't seem like DeepSeek is actually as big as we thought it was. Which I said obviously when it all came out, I said I don't think DeepSeek is as big as it's supposed to be. I know Mike in the Telegram has also said it's not as big as it's supposed to be. Because again, you know, we talked about this on the stream live. DeepSeek isn't something which is going to ruin the world. I understand with NVIDIA and stuff, I get that, but I think a lot of stuff which dumped the market was a lot of fear. But we do have a comment from KB. We go to it. Everything is a copy of a copy. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think I saw another tweet actually, which is kind of an image where OpenAI was just scraping through the ocean, and then DeepSeek just sat next to it. And then, you know what? Let me try to find it. I reckon I can find it. Okay, I don't want to. My timeline is awful. I'm gonna find it. I'll scroll really quickly. There it is. So this is true, completely true. Real data, aka just scraping the entire internet for copyright or non-copyrighted information, regardless of what it is. And obviously ChatGPT's little bucket, and obviously DeepSeek just going straight into there, because everything's copy of copy. Because it gets to the point, especially in emerging markets with emerging, you know, systems like with AI models. You know, there is so much room for there to be new technology and new things. But when you go to like example, you know, ChatGPT, where you have models which exist, which are large language models, which exist to provide the data across many fields. It's not just a fine-tuned model for identifying dogs or identifying cars or whatever. It's literally, you could talk to it and ask it anything because it is trained with everything on it. It gets to a point where there's not a lot you can add to, you know, the model, especially in markets which have been around for years and years and years. There's not a lot you can do without there being a significant change in the market. There's not a lot you can really do. So it just does get to a point where everything's a copy of copy, like you said. But anyway, I'm gonna move on now. Nice little update on DeepSeek, and let's just see what the market's doing, see how we're doing in the percentages, and get into it. So Bitcoin 102,110. I think this dump pretty. I think I saw an hour candle. It was literally just straight down. So I think we've had a bit of a dump. We haven't had a fully higher high yet on the higher time frames. So I'd like to see if we still have potential to come down. Again, we did have a bounce off of the lower end of our... So we'll get into it. Again, 2025, I'm not going to be talking about the charts when they're not right in front of me. 102, 144, 0.38% down in the 1 hour. Who cares? It's been 10 minutes. Well, to be fair though, 0.38% in 10 minutes is pretty decent. 3.45% down in the 24 hour and 3.32% down in the 7 day. So again, the 24 hour and the 7 day, very, very similar percentages. Very, very similar. Okay, so it's not like we've had massive movement down. You know, the 7 day we're down 10%, 24 hour down 3%. We've got pretty much an equal percentage down over the 7 day and 24 hour. Because again, the 7 day is kind of a profile of the last 7 days of movement. So if the 7 day movement down and the 24 hour percent movement down are pretty much the same, it kind of insinuates that, you know, we've must have gone down, come up, and then kind of come down again, which we have done. So we've kind of had a bit of a chillaxed thing. Ethereum, on the other hand, even, you know, Ethereum has moved better, and I will show you guys why. Because I did draw a range last stream which covered 2,900. Sorry, in that little range I drew just below equilibrium, we did touch it with a wick really, really nicely. So we will have a little look at that. Obviously 1.33% down 7 day, 1.9% up on the 24 hour, so a bit of recovery, and that's to be expected because with Bitcoin and I believe Solana as well, Solana's obviously a different boat, you know, 12% down 7 day, 4% down 24 hour. It's not like we've recovered, we are obviously, you know, coming down. You can even see with the little mini charts here, you can see obviously Bitcoin, we have our main dump kind of area, whatever we're doing, come up a bit. But with Solana, obviously you can see main dump, and then we've hovered. Ethereum, obviously dump, but again, our support point for Ethereum was a bit higher, and now we're coming up again pretty more. But anyway, Solana, $230, 4.2% down 24 hour, 12% down 7 days. So pretty good movement down for Solana as well. I think our main target, I think there was a $190 mark, there's a $200 mark as well, or something like that. In terms of a long-term movement down, because again, the main focus we had on last stream on Monday, it was for the weekly. So a lot of the stuff I kind of put my analysis on was the weekly movement, and I mentioned obviously in the stream, you know, a lot of the charts, like Bitcoin for example. Bitcoin, we bounced off the higher end of equilibrium, we came down, and at the period of time we were already at the equilibrium high. So looking at the weekly, it looked like we were supposed to come down, but again, that's the weekly, so that's going to have a longer term effect. So again, we're going to have these movements up and down for Bitcoin, but the majority of the movement downward is probably going to, or the majority of the movement on a longer period of time over a more substantial amount of days, or however long it's going to take, will be more of a downwards movement. But anyway, let's look at, you know, 24-hour winners and losers. You know, some things, you know what, I don't really care. I think we'll just go straight on to the charts. Fartcoin, I keep on seeing Fartcoin, and it's always losing. Also, a thing I do want to say, apologies for Wednesday. Okay, so if you guys are not aware, if you're watching, like, well, what happened Wednesday? What's going on? What are we talking about? We were supposed to have a main, I think it was Mew. I'm pretty sure it was Mew night. We were going to dress up really cool. It was going to be Quid games. We're going to have a game going on. It's going to be really cool. You guys could type in YouTube chat, answer questions, and you'd appear on the leaderboard on our application. And whoever was first would win the allocation of Mew. Unfortunately, we had a power cut when we were going to start streaming. I believe Mike sent a video message in Telegram, so we didn't get the chance to actually do the stream. But we are going to be doing it next week, Wednesday. So on the 5th of February, we are going to be doing the game. But what I do want to do, which is why I'm talking to you guys about it, I do want to do maybe on Monday or something. Obviously, I do have a stream on Monday, to be fair. Maybe on a weekend. I don't know when exactly. I'll keep the Telegram posted. I do want to do a test stream. We do have the game system set up where we get to show you a question, you guys answer it on YouTube, and then obviously there's a leaderboard system. I do want to test that before Wednesday to make sure it works, so I'll keep the Telegram posted on that. So if you are any of you guys are available, maybe same time on a Saturday or Sunday, whenever, I'm not too sure exactly when we're going to be doing it, but I do want to do a test stream where basically I just sit here, run the application, I do a bunch of tests, and you guys just type in the YouTube chat, and we make sure it works, okay? So I will be keeping you guys posted on that. It is pretty cool. But again, I'm yapping. Let's get onto Bitcoin and just see what we're doing, see what's going on. Also, I don't know if this is just me, and it's my browser settings. Has TradingView actually changed their colors to this dark gray? I don't know if it's something I've changed by accident, or have they globally changed the color from a dark navy, not navy blue, it's kind of like a navy blue, or has it actually changed to gray? So guys for you guys out there who actually use Telegram, Sorry, Jesus Christ. Trading view. Has it actually changed for everybody? I'm not sure how I feel about it, because my colors, especially, you can see the background, it was, I leaned it more towards the blue, so it looked nicer, and then all of a sudden they've changed it to grey, and now it's all thing. Nothing's changed on the web app. Oh, maybe it's me. I don't know what I've done. I don't know. I can't possibly think what I've done to make it do this. Nothing's changed on the web app. Yeah, whatever. Maybe it's me then. I don't know what I've done. I do want to change it back though, because I really don't like it. Anyway, so on the 4 hour here, we have a new line. Okay, we have this line here. This one, I drew this before the stream. This was kind of my main. I drew this on the daily because I wanted to see the main movement of the daily. Okay, because again, you can look at the 1 hour and go, okay, these are the highs, these are the lows. So for example, on the 4 hour, I drew this line for some of these highs up here, especially this high. I was like, okay, these are the highs. But you look at the 4 hour and you look, oh, well, this movement's really complicated, because you go up and then you come down a bit, and then you go up and then you dump a bit, and then you come all the way up and you dump again, you come up, down. It's really weird. So I'd rather just draw the trend on the daily. You know, I'd rather draw the trend on the daily. So this is our weighted, not averaged, general trend, okay, on the daily. It just makes it a bit easier for us to see. And what can we see from this trend on the daily? Well, we can see that our high is at 109k. 110k. So this, I was like, okay, so let's go back to it. So the main movement downwards was this dump here. Especially, we were kind of talking about it Monday. You can see 9 to 10. This was our purple movement. This was our movement upwards. We were in this phase, you know, when we were doing the stream on Monday, when we were coming upwards. Obviously, we're coming up now. But the main, again, I was looking on the weekly, and if we remember what was on the weekly, it's hard to see because there's a lot of trash on the screen. Let me delete this. There's lots of trash. What do we see? Well, we see bounce off of equilibrium really nicely as well. Literally pretty much 1-to-1 with the line. But then obviously we had wicks upwards. But then we had a print again at this blue line. And what do we see? We see this moving upwards. And then we see us arcing downwards to find support within equilibrium. Now, what I noticed was we had a very similar scenario. We came back, we bounced and printed above this equilibrium, which is a really nice print. You know, this is a good print. Now, this is good for us, because even though we could, especially on the weekly, have potential to come back down again towards this 93k area and 91 and so on and so forth. The main takeaway I see from this weekly kind of scenario we have is the fact that we are printing and staying above 93k. Because again, let's zoom out real quickly. This blue area, this blue line and this blue line and this red area, this whole area is equilibrium in of itself, the whole thing. Okay. However, the red area is the equilibrium, you know, because you know this is the mathematics of these ranges. Insinuate, signify, if you will, the red areas as being the main equilibriums. However, the blue areas are the wider ranges equilibrium. However, we're on the weekly, we're on a pretty high range anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The main point is, this is where you have to print above. This red area is the significance. Similar to the purple line, where if you're printing above it and you're using it as support or resistance, that kind of insinuates what range you're supposed to be in. Similar with equilibrium, it's if you're printing above the red area and staying and using it as support, or, you know, in this case, support, it signifies the idea that we are now in this range of things, in between 177k and 94k. Obviously, like I talked about on Monday in our stream when we looked at this scenario, and previous streams when we have looked at similar scenarios to what we're in right now, we did see kind of the movement where you have this. You know, this is quite a common movement when obviously resistance on the blue line, whatever, where you kind of do this, and then this is a movement. It can do a double bounce and then come up, or double bounce, come back inwards, and then bounce up again and do this. The main movement is, you know, step one, move into equilibrium. Step two, bounce off the top line, coming into this area, and then, you know, step three, be within this area, and then confirm to, yeah, in however long it takes, confirm above equilibrium, and then kind of step four being coming out of equilibrium and using it as support, and then continuing to move upwards. So to compare that to where we are right now, very similar scenario. You know, we have this equilibrium bounce. You know, with these two highs, you can see like really nicely this high, really good print down here, really good print at this equilibrium. These two areas especially, really nice prints on both ends of the spectrum in terms of the high and the low of the equilibrium. Obviously, we have wicks below, we have wicks above. That's normal. You know, we're on the weekly. It's normal. But the main idea is we are printing within this range. So we haven't printed outside, we haven't printed below. So as I see it currently, we are consolidating above equilibrium before we see continuous movement back upwards. So in terms of, how am I feeling about Bitcoin and, carrying this over to the other coins which are doing similar scenarios, especially with Ethereum, which is also in equilibrium right now. Solana in a bit of a different scenario, but still expected movement downwards, as we will get onto when we look at it later. Give a drink though quickly because my throat is getting a bit parched. So looking at Bitcoin, what can we see? What are my expectations for Bitcoin? Very similar. Again, we're looking at the weekly here. There's nothing too dissimilar from what I looked at in terms of Monday. I think we are going to be coming downwards. I think we'll continue to move downwards. And my main point was, if we can print, obviously Monday next week, in 2 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 days, whatever. If we can print negative and print below 104k, we are then going to be having our arc. We've had our movement upwards. We've had our bounce. We're having we've had our wick bounce up here. We're having our movement back downwards, because if we were to look at the daily, we would probably see more of a normal thing. Because what do we see right now? Candle body upwards, 2 equal candle bodies here, but with big wicks. But we can see the wicks are lower, than each other. So it kind of shows we've kind of come upwards, and then we're kind of coming downwards again in terms of our wicks. Again, if we look on the lower time frames, it will show us that we've kind of, come upwards, come down, come upwards a bit, come down again. But in the general sense, we have had our high, and now we're coming down. So what can I expect in terms of a Monday print when we're going on to the next week? Is a continuation of this movement, aka being a negative movement downwards. We could have an equal movement to this candle, which would bring us down towards 93, 94k, aka being this equilibrium print. And what did I say on Monday? I reckon we're going to have a print again above 94k and a wick into this area down towards 91.3, 92k, 92.5k is what I'm expecting for Bitcoin. 92, yeah, exactly what I just said, 92.5k. Completely exactly what I just said. I'm hovering over it right now, 92.5. I completely agree. I think we're gonna have a wick. We're gonna have a wick equal to what we've seen before, which is, like I said, in between 92.5 towards 91.3 area. I think this is our area because I believe this is a breaker block. Potential of support. I can't remember exactly what range it's on, but it basically is a support. Even if we don't know, you can still see wick. All of these are within this green area. So I think this is where we're going to find our support area, and we're going to bounce off of it and print above this red area, and then come upwards again. Okay, so as we see it on the weekly, we're stuck in this range. Now, I'm going to go back into the 4-hour time frame so we can see if we have a bit more of a applicable, analysis I can give for you guys. So we had this low, which I drew. Obviously, this is on the 4-hour. So again, significant-wise, we haven't done anything significant. We had our trend so far was, okay, we had uptrend. Let me see. Okay, basically what it was okay, I need to zoom out a bit for this. We had, if we have a really general movement, moving upwards, low, high, and then a lower low, it's, we're now in a downtrend, and then, we're now shifting, and then, we had a big movement upwards, back up above this high, and now we're coming down again. But in terms of what we've seen over the daily, we haven't obviously come below this low. It's been a normal movement upwards. But again, if we do see this surpass over, past this low, then we're going to be in that trend downwards. But the main issue is, I labeled this wrong. This breaker block. This is negative. This is negative. Okay. And you can see, we're bouncing multiple times into it and finding massive resistance at it. Because I think I labeled it as a breaker block. I actually don't think it's truly. Because we're on this is a weekly range. I believe it's actually not in the breaker block area on the lower time frames. Again, we're on the 4-hour here, so it's more a resistance area, and that is more applicable. As we can see, resistance here. Obviously, we've wicked up, whatever. We have had occasional times where we've tried to get back above and failed. But see, bounce into it. Obviously, this area, whatever. Bounce into it, bounce. Obviously, dumped, and now we've come back into it, and now we're coming down again. But what do we see? We have this area, which I believe is a daily support point. Is it this one? Which one is that? I think it might have been this one I labeled wrong or something. But again, we're on the daily here. So I should probably lessen this range because I think we're a really wide range here. Yeah, so you can see this is a breaker block. You can see here, this is where mitigation blocks are. This area are breaker blocks. Okay, and this is a breaker block on the daily, and we can see resistance, flip, support. Okay, now again, we're on the daily here, so this isn't the weekly trend. This isn't something which happens over the weekly. This is a shorter period time thing. So we can break below these things. So again, none of these things which I look at, breaker blocks, order blocks, none of them are very, they're not like complete setting stone support points, because there never is a complete setting stone support point resistance point. If the higher time frame has a trend which goes against a 4-hour order block, it doesn't line up. The daily and the weekly. If the weekly shows decently strong trend or strong indication that we're going to be coming down below a certain price, but on the daily we've got a support point which goes against that, what has more weight? What has more weight to it? It's going to be the weekly. Okay, so if we can see if there's a weekly trend or something which can potentially be a weekly trend, which is us bringing our price within this equilibrium at 92.5k, let's say, to 104k, then obviously that's going to be followed stronger than we are going to see on the daily. Because again, bring it down to the 4-hour. What's going to be stronger in terms of technical analysis, 4-hour or the 15-minute? So it's one of those things, So even though we have the support, I think what we're currently doing is currently having our scenario doing this. We're kind of hovering in this area. I think we're then gonna see a dump. So I think we're kind of hovering here, and then we're gonna dump back down. Because where was this wick? This was towards 90k as well. 92, 91k over here. I think we're gonna have, we've had our ascent upwards, we've had our hoverage, and now we're gonna come back down again because we can't get above this area. It's kind of like a Bart Simpson. If Bart Simpson ate 24 donuts a day for 6 months, he'd still have his hair, but his face would get a bit round, wouldn't it? His face would get a bit round. His eyes would bulge maybe out a bit. Have a smile. Chubby cheeks, whatever. But in the general sense, he'd still have his hair, wouldn't he? But his face would just be a bit round. His face would just be a bit rounder. His face would be a bit rounder. He'd be a bit fatter on the cheeks. But still, he'd still have his hair like that, wouldn't he? So if we go and look what we've got right now, we've got our Bart Simpson. I wish I could just. Isn't there a way you can just hide everything on the chart? I swear there is. I don't want to unhide everything. Or hide and unhide everything. But I would, what? There we go. That helps a lot. So, again, same thing. We've got our hair. We've got our hair. I don't shoot the messenger. He's just fat Bart Simpson. He's had one too many donuts or whatever through the years, and now he's a bit fatter. Anyway, I'm gonna stop drawing now. I'm not Picasso. Actually, I don't even need to undo this. I just need to go back to my chart. There we go. So anyway, moving on to my final statements on Bitcoin, because we've got about 33 minutes left. Probably gone to Ethereum and Solana. I'll talk a bit more in depth on those. Keep it to a good pace. I do need to have a sip of my drink there. Okay. Okay, what do I expect then? Well, what do we have coming from about the 16th of January, this area, till now? Our high point, obviously we've had wicks above here, but the general high point has been within 105k to 104k, this area of resistance, and support has been within the area of 98k to 102k, which is pretty wide. But apart from this big dump, which surpassed this midline, because again, order blocks, you have an area, you have a midline, you normally bounce off the midlines and in both support and resistance. So we kind of saw that every single time we came into it, we were within the midline or above. Obviously, this case was different. We bounced off the lower end because it was a dire situation where everyone thought the world would end. Everyone thought the Terminator was about to be birthed out of China. Skynet was in full effect, and DeepSeek was going to take over the world. And the video was over. Random tech stocks which didn't reply to AI at all. Random food stocks which didn't even apply to AI at all. Also dumps. The whole world was ending. Only brought us down towards 98k. So if that can cause that, then I'm confident enough to say that this is our area we are currently stuck in, and we have been stuck in. If we look, we have been stuck in this general area. So I think we're going to come down, probably back towards 100k, probably come back up towards 104k, wipe our hands clean, and do it all over again tomorrow. Okay, it's like a perpetual pub crawl, over and over again. We'll come back down to 100k, now we'll come back up to here. We'll do it all again tomorrow, until we see the unfathomable demise on Monday, when we start to see our retracements down towards 92k. So I think during the week of next week, basically, we will see that 92k visit. Now, I think we have to use the weekly to orchestrate the 4-hour and the daily. because I think, what do we have? We have this never-ending range. We don't really have a lot to signify to us how to get out of this area. Now, the only reason I drew this area, this is the scenario where we wouldn't be in a downtrend, but we can't get a high higher than 109k. I think we're going to see a low lower than 97, 98k before we see a high higher than 109k. So I think we are going to be in this downtrend. Obviously, on the weekly, we're going to be in this downtrend on the singular candle coming down back towards 92k. So I think we can only really use the weekly to orchestrate the ranges we're in, because there's not really much sign of us breaking out above 105k or breaking below 100k so far. So I think all we're going to see this perpetual trend trade between here. So I think, obviously, if you were to trade these ranges, again, I hate that space changes. Pressing the spacebar changes what chart you're on. So obviously, if it was me, well, it is me, but that's what I'm saying. But, if you were to trade these ranges, if you were someone who had the exact same chart as me and had these ranges between, 104k, 105k, resistance at 105k, support at about 100,300, I would be trading these ranges, trading up and down these ranges, until we see that on the lower time frames anyway, until we see that movement on the weekly. Again, it's only going to be, Friday, Monday open, Sunday close. That should be our new weekly candle. And again, we could have external factors pushing our price above 100 and whatever K it was. We could have a positive print on the weekly, which brings us above the equilibrium, and this could change the entirety of the TA. However, as I see it right now with what we've got on the weekly and we've got right now Bitcoin, I would expect to see on the Monday print during the next week our retracement back down to 92k. Now, it might not take that long. Again, we're on the 4 hour. This movement upwards, took basically a week. I reckon this movement downwards, another 6 days, down to here. It might take a couple. I don't think it's going to be a straight line right down, in 4 hours. I think it's going to take its time to come down, have a nice steady movement downwards, breaking below. Because you don't want a scenario, or in our case we do, we want a more expensive Bitcoin. But, in normal price action, you don't want it to just candle all the way down, a god candle or demon candle, whatever you want to call it. Demon candle all the way down to 92k, and then, what's that going to leave us? Well, that's not going to leave us with any, resistance testing in the slightest. That's going to leave us with a massive movement downwards, a massive gap, value gap, with this massive candle moving downwards. Because again, obviously, this is a value gap. Actually, is it? Not quite. Is this a gap we could potentially see? It is kind of, this could be a fair value gap between 92 and 93k. But again, either way, if it's a fair value gap or not, it is a negative fair value gap, is what I'll say. I don't think it's not in my ranges to be valid. In terms of, obviously we haven't even printed it yet. Yeah, so that would be like a 103k, like boom, coming downwards again, just do nothing down here, finding support down here, and then coming right back upwards towards our thing, resistance here, whatever. This is what we're doing. Okay, this is what we're doing. I can't stop it. But yeah, back onto the idea. Weekly coming downwards. I think we'll do the same. 92k, a nice steady descent. Don't want a massive candle down. Nice steady descent down towards 92k. So simple. About 30 minutes left. I think is an ample time to move on to Solana first. I think I'll do Solana first and then go on to Ethereum. And then we can see what we're doing. Okay, what have we been doing? So let's go on the daily. Okay, this is the main. Or is it the weekly? The weekly was the main thing. Okay, what did we say? Whoops. What did we say? I think what I said was we have this wider range weekly trend, which we've been or higher lows, which we've been following all the way up until now, or not up until now. What's kind of amplified this idea in my head anyway? Why are we going to be bouncing off this line again? We've bounced off equilibrium. That is good. That's beautiful. Okay. I think this is going to lead us into the lower range equilibrium. Because remember, what did we see? Why have I drawn this? This is a breaker block actually. Yeah, it's a support breaker block. But again, it's an order block. They can flip to support and resistance, like I've said before. So we've obviously broke below this. As we can see, good support, good support, good support, good support. Now we've broken out of it. Now found resistance, good resistance. You can see there, good resistance. Nice rounded movements, resistance, resistance, resistance again. And now we're kind of coming down. But, we're kind of doing this. We're going to have our nice movement downwards eventually, coming towards 200k and onwards. Not 200k, $200 and onwards. I do think we're eventually going to see this $194 visit. Now, for me though, I think we're going to see this sooner than we're going to see, because obviously Bitcoin, we're banking on the idea that it's a weekly thing, and with Solana as well, the trend has been a weekly thing. But it does follow really nicely on the 4-hour daily as well. It's a normal. If it's going to follow nicely, because price obviously cascades, it's going to follow nicely anyway. I think with Bitcoin though, I think to be able to move to where it needs to do, I think it does have to have that weekly print, negative weekly print, to allow it to then have that movement downwards towards 92k. Whereas with Solana, I don't think there's a lot in the way of it to come down towards $194 and visit its equilibrium. Because remember, I believe on the 243 it does have equilibrium. Rejection block 2. I don't know why I have that. Or was it the 81? There it is. Yeah, here, 81. The line I drew, which intersects, which I think can go up even more. I think this can go to $200, like I said. It intersects with the equilibrium perfectly. So I think, like I said, I'm just kind of, a lot of the beginning TA on, especially with Bitcoin and now, is kind of reiterating what we already talked about on Monday. But again, I do want to talk about it again. We do have this $200 movement or visits or price, which does intersect pretty much perfectly with the trend line we are seeing on the weekly. So I do think we're going to eventually visit this equilibrium area down here and find support, because we've had a nice movement upwards. Now again, we have had breaker blocks, we have had the highs and the lows, we have had support there. However, in terms of where we are, we have now broken below this resistance area, and more importantly, broken below the 81 expansion line. You can see we've broken below expansion line, found resistance at the high, which is, or at the low, which is now the high. This is ample TA. This is ample price action to suggest to us we're now in this range, which then therefore means we are now going to be in this area, which is in between $243 and $200. What do we have? We don't have main support. Obviously, we had support or resistance here, which could be support, which you can kind of see with wick 2, here. But we don't really have much in the way of support in this area up until we see equilibrium. Until we see equilibrium. We have had resistance at this line, and we have had support at this line. So I wouldn't be surprised if at $218 we had, good resistance or support here. We haven't quite visited it yet. I do reckon we could have support there. Maybe do that little bounce before we come down again, something like this, a normal trend downwards. We'll do our lower low within $220 and then come upwards again towards $228, bouncing off some of these lows, coming down again, and proceeding down towards $200. I do think, because again, I'm just gonna reiterate the same point, we don't have anything below apart from equilibrium. This is the next step. Apart from this line, this is the next step. So I do think we have, regardless of the week. Click the wrong one. Apart from the weekly, if we were to look at external from the weekly and look at the scenario in right now and not look at the weekly, I would still say the same thing, that we are probably going to visit $210 to $200. If I had nothing on the screen apart from equilibrium, I would say we're going to come, because what else is there to do? We've now come into this range. What do I notice? We have this, we have this support resistance area, and then we have equilibrium. So what's left for me to say other than, I think, similar to what we've seen with other coins, which are coming down, I reckon, over the longer period, over the next couple of days. Obviously, everything's coming down. What do we have? We have support at $220. We have support at $200-ish down here. What's left for me to say is a downtrend continuing down to here, finding support, and then reversing, and then coming back upwards again. That's all I have to say. So, that's all I have, in terms of Solana. It spans this area. Now, on the 4-hour, it meets perfectly with $200, $199, $200. Again, like I said, it has $195. It also has $210. But again, where do we have it on the weekly? What do we have? What do we have? Oops, there we go. If we shimmy it down a bit more and maybe meet it on this candle, it is 197. So within that area of 200 to 197 is where I reckon Solana can go to. So again, like I had with Bitcoin, that is my longer term. It's not long term, but that's my non-actionable TA. You can't do anything right now with. But if I was to trade right now, to give some actionable TA, which you can try and utilize over today, tomorrow, the rest of today, tomorrow, maybe even the next day after tomorrow, what would it be? Well, I think, what are we showing signs of? If we were to do traditional TA, where we use chart patterns. What do I have? What do we have even? We have this. This is what we have coming down towards 210. So I would wait for a bounce maybe off 200 where we are now, basically. If we start to come upwards, maybe another visit at 244. But again, I would rather not trade this. I would rather, in the scenario we're in, I would rather play a longer term trade, which is a short down towards $197, and then have a generous stop loss. Because again, you don't want to get stopped out. Now is probably not the great time. You might want to wait for us to retrace a bit. We might not immediately go down right now. We might have a bit more coverage. So what I would do is, I would I'd either do two things. Obviously, because again, you can go into the 15-minute and see, okay, oh, on the 15-minute we've got this trend and we've bounced off it. We could go up towards here. Yeah, you can do that. But I'm on the 4 hour. I'm on the daily. This is where I have my TA. This is where I do my analysis on the streams. Is the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly. So if I was to trade it based on my time frames I have, which is on the 4 hour, I would either wait for this to retrace and then come back into here where you have a bit more leeway on the stop loss, where you can allow for that movement downwards and have a greater potential profit, or wait for that retracement, because again, we don't know if we're going to come down here. But again, it's like, okay, it could be a scenario where, what do we have then? What else do we have? We have like a pocket down here. I could do white, I guess. Yeah, what do we have? We have very equal lows here. Very equal lows in this area. So we could see a dip into it and then a retracement back upwards and then a move back downwards is what we could expect. Because we've produced all these lows down here, all these relative equal lows down here, moved upwards, surpassed this high, bounced off resistance, come back down. What's there left to do? If we were to use this sort of analysis, what is there left? Dip back into here, $222-ish, whatever, 223, and then moving back upwards. So again, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't short right now because I think we could dip into this, come back upwards, and then come back down. So that's what I'm saying. I reckon I would wait for a retracement back up into a higher area for where we are in this range. Obviously, put a nice looser stop loss back up above. Because again, if we flip this resistance to support, you'd want to get out of this trade. You want to get out. But again, look how tight these bounces have been on this resistance area. So you could probably put this stop loss a bit tighter onto this midline. Instead of doing it, relatively loose, you could put it a bit lower, probably, because this is a very tight resistance line over here. Wait for this dip into here, and then come back upwards again is what I would probably wait for. But, we will, to be fair, it's actually quite dark, but we have had this purple line move down below it, to be fair. So, again, actually, hold on. We've kind of had this, haven't we? We had low, boom, come upwards. So we might not have it, but regardless, I do think we'll have another bounce. I don't think we're going to immediately go down right now. I don't have any suspicion that we're going to do this. Because again, how long is another bounce in this trend going to last us? What do we have? Movement from the low to the high took us, a day. Movement from here took another day and a bit, or 2 days even. This one took another day. Took another day and a bit. So, another day upwards, I would say, which would then lead us into nearing towards the weekly. Okay, it's actually quite far away from the weekly close. But again, what do we have here? We had a movement upwards, we had a hoverage. So I reckon, if we were to try and fit, square peg round hole, try and fit the time frame of Bitcoin to Solana, it would happen right about over here. Now, I'm not saying with Bitcoin, as soon as we have that weekly print, we're going to dump immediately, okay? Or the Monday opens, we're going to dump immediately. However, what I am saying is, I think we have time for one more bounce. I don't think this is showing too much signs of, as I see it right now, of coming down immediately. I think we could have one more movement back upwards towards $244 area, and then moving back downwards again. I think we then will eventually break this, come towards 197. The thing I'm more confident in most than anything of what I've talked about in here is the fact that we do have, I think we are going to see that $197, $200 visit for Solana and come into that area. Obviously, then would be how are we going to get there? Is it going to be we're going to bounce here, we're going to do this, we're going to do that? So what I'd rather do, what I'm looking for, what I would look for Solana is and obviously you might have to take some opinion on this. Is any point close enough to 245 where you can enter? I'd wait for retracement, try and wait for a retracement, see how high up you can get into a short, and then just sit on that until we see 197, which will be, couple days, whatever. But again, if I was to trade, if I was to trade something on the lower time frame, you want to trade the trend. What's the trend currently? We haven't seen anything. We haven't seen, a lower low yet. We haven't seen anything like that. We've seen, low, high. We haven't seen a lower low yet. So until I see us surpass $223, we haven't realistically broken our structure yet. So I would then expect another higher high. Because technically these are higher highs, even though they're relatively equal. It could be a scenario where we have two equal highs, we surpass it, and then we dump again. Instead of it being on this end of things, I'd actually rather put it on the other end of things, which is up here. In between these two. These two highs up here. If we shimmy that across, put it up a tiny bit. This area up here is what I'd expect us to kind of come into. We've had our bounces down here. We've had relatively equal highs. We could come up above here, wick above both of these, sweep them, come down. So yeah, I would wait for a movement back up here. If you want to get in and be confident you're already in, you could get in here. Just make sure you put your stop loss, like I said, relatively decently above the midline, just in case we have our wicks upwards. And again, to be safe and sorry, put it up here, put it up here, enter around this area, wait for our retracement down to about $200. Obviously, if I had a safer takeout or safer take profit, it would be about $200 for Solana. So yeah, that's what I think for Solana. If I was to do anything, I would be waiting for a short. Put a short at about $243. And again, what is the 243? That is the high. The 243 is the high. So yeah, bear that in mind. 243 to 245, that area. Let's go to Ethereum now, though. See what we've done. Now, Ethereum is a different kettle of fish, whatever you want to call it. We have had that visit into the area. Because remember, what did I talk about on the daily? My main area was this blue area. I think I even looked at it on the weekly. Because what I noticed was, and I said this on the stream, I said, well, the red line, which is the equilibrium, it seems like Ethereum isn't truly holding on to the idea of using this red area as a true valid area of support resistance. It seems to majoritively be the blue area up here and the blue area down here. So how can I apply that to what we've seen? Well, that would apply to me. Oh, no, it wouldn't apply to me. What am I trying to say? How I interpreted that to try and apply that to a movement would be us coming down easily below this red area and doing our thing. Obviously, where was our thing? Here it is. Was it? Wait, hold on a minute. Am I looking at the wrong thing? I mean, okay, no, that is a different line. I looked at it on the weekly. I was like, oh, brilliant, Monday. It's the wrong Monday. We had a bounce of equilibrium. Yeah, okay, so this wasn't the line I had here. I don't remember that. I must have not seen that on the other chart. I don't remember seeing this line. I remember looking here. I went, okay, brilliant. We have all these areas here. I mustn't have clocked this line. I thought, oh my god, I am so brilliant today. I got this line here. So okay, so regardless, we didn't see that line, but even worse then. Even worse. We didn't even come down. Now with Bitcoin, obviously in Bitcoin and Solana's sake, or mainly Bitcoin, we had that big support area which we're at, which is about 100,300. Obviously in Solana's case, we didn't really have that. We kind of had the high, which we've easily surpassed. Solana obviously is a bit of a different story in terms of that case. We didn't have like a daily breaker block or weekly breaker block. It was more so of a we've got a high. We've surpassed the high. Oh well. Or in this case, it was a low. Now it's a high. We've surpassed the low. It's now a high. Whatever. So actually, instead of what I just said then, in terms of Ethereum, actually respecting the red area. Now again, we can see on especially on the 4 hour, we do use these red areas really nicely, and we actually did so in this case as well. Okay, well then this just holds on to what I talked about anyway. I was saying when I was looking at CoinMarketCap, I was like, oh well, Ethereum's actually done something different from Bitcoin and Solana. So in this case, it actually hasn't. Okay, that's more normal then. So in terms of Bitcoin having its 92k, Solana having its $200, this was my area, which is about 2,800. I think the 2871 is one of the lines of the main lines. I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, 2817. Oh, not 2871. I'm stupid. Yeah. Here we go. So if I unhide the 2817, you can see yellow line bounce, 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 bounce. Really, really good. 2817. So for me, 2817 to 29 to 2871. This area down here, like I said, 2817, good bounce there. There is simple. So that in terms of Bitcoin's 92k, Solana's 200k. That's what I've got for Ethereum. So what are we doing? I do want to use a lower area. What do we have? The most perfect breaker block I think I've ever seen in my entire existence. Most perfect breaker block. But what has to happen for a breaker block to follow through? Well, normally you can have the scenario where you form one, you come down, use the resistance, and then you do whatever you're about to do, and then you come up, find support, bang, do your thing, whatever. Obviously, how do we apply that to what we see right now? Well, we have the form. We have the form. What's next? The use, and then the continuation downwards. It's a pretty big or breaker block, or in this case, order block. What does that say then? That might say a nice, healthy bounce off of it. Obviously, this is the 4 hours. So this will happen over a faster period of time. Coming into maybe basically like 1 a.m. now time. Obviously, nice bounces off equilibrium. Now, again, we are on the 2817, so these equilibriums are very, very nicely being respected. So in terms of us going, oh, we're going to bounce into the 3381, and they cut them all the way back down. I don't believe that. But again, as we've seen with Bitcoin, there have been scenarios where you have had order blocks, which have meant you have been stuck. Now, again, why is this interesting? Well, to me, what have I've just kind of thought about where we are exactly. Where are we? For Ethereum, why is this order block so interesting? Or to me anyway, why is this form so interesting right here, especially? Well, this is the line between the wider range equilibrium and the rest of everything else. So for the fact there being a order block, or in this case, a breaker block, which is still an order block, resistance basically coupling up onto the high of the equilibrium. So it kind of, because again, look. Brilliant resistance there, broke down. Brilliant resistance there, broke down to the low of the area. Again, tried to break above, failed, found support, broke down again. We just have like visits above, as we have right now over this trend, which obviously this dump caught us below. Because for this period of us pumping up, it was us being above equilibrium. Bouncing into it, coming upwards. And then obviously this dump of DeepSeek and everyone thinking the world was about to end, and then rockets were going to come out of the sky and blow everyone up, and everyone was going to like turn into a black hole, and the whole world's going to end. Again, that happened, and then obviously down we come. There it is, which then shifted us into, oh, we can't get above equilibrium. We now can't get above equilibrium. We can't get above equilibrium. We're stuck below equilibrium. So to apply that here, this is obviously a coupled up kind of superpower, where it's like, okay, not only do we have difficulty above this order block, but as soon as we try and get it back above equilibrium, which is a hard task, as we can see, quite a hard task to get above equilibrium. Not saying we haven't done it, but in terms of these scenarios especially, a decently hard task. So hard task once more, bang, 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 bang. Oh, we've done it, bang. Which then again, the amount of times we've come up above equilibrium and then come down to this area. So I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of do our thing, kind of bounce off this, maybe come down again, come upwards. I think we will eventually see a 382 visit. So what would I do? Similar to with Solana, very similar with Solana. What I would do is wait for a visit into this area. It could be above, it could be lower. It could be lower actually, yeah. Maybe you might want to be a bit safer down here. Again, I'm not a complete financial. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional. I can't give price, this, that, the others. I'm not someone who's trained in this. I don't have a license or whatever. I don't know. Obviously, don't do what I'm talking about here. But if it was me, if I was you, whatever, it would be, okay, wait for a retracement towards free or a revisit, whatever retracement. If we're coming from a high point to a low, technically it's a retracement upwards. So no, retracement's used for downwards. What's the opposite of retracement? Like retracement, whatever. A movement back upwards, whatever. Movement back upwards towards 382 to this area here. I'd wait for that area to visit into here. Obviously, that could mean a wait. We could wait for this. Similar to how we saw here, we bounced off 3294 towards 3338. I think I'd wait for here. Obviously, short position, waiting for that movement back down towards 2817, maybe 29. I'd probably put a 2908, a really nice 14% move downwards, which allows us to have a really generous stop loss. So we could put a stop loss all the way here, put it anywhere we want. So I think this will be really safe if you put it above the order block, you know, or above the breaker block. This is a safe bet. 1.69%. Again, it depends what leverage you use, if you do lose leverage or whatever. But in terms of the potential movement downwards, and again, this isn't going to happen tomorrow. This isn't going to happen 2 days. This will happen over a course of a while. Okay, it's not going to be, oh look, we bounced off this, bang, singular candle, 1 hour, all the way down to 2,900. However, this will result in a 14% move downwards. So it is a generous move downwards, considering how tight we are in this area. Now again, we haven't really had a breaker block back here of truce, and we've had this one, I suppose. But again, we haven't really had much in the way of a truly good order block. I know, again, we've only formed this just now, so I can't really comment truly on how well this is going to form. However, we do have it is a proper order block, so I would reckon there is going to be support. Now again, the difference between this area and this area is being stuck above and stuck below equilibrium, because again, this area stuck above equilibrium. So for there to be a scenario where we have a resistance order block, or obviously in this case a breaker block which is off support, the likelihood is we're not really going to see much resistance because we're at support. So we're just going to move above it and use it as support and then continue onwards. But obviously in this case, it's a very different story where we're stuck below equilibrium. A lot of the time we're trying to get above and then we're stuck back into it. And then obviously in this case, to apply that here, I do think we're going to see that, you know, difficulty in this region. You know, this region here, I think is going to be very difficult to get above. So I think, you know, wait for a retracement into this range here, you know, maybe coming towards 335, 338, whatever. And then waiting for that retracement, as with Solana, as with Bitcoin, to come downwards towards, you know, this area. So good promising potential for Ethereum. If you were to trade it, I think it'd have to be on a lower time, higher leverage trade. Because again, we are going to be, we are restricted pretty much, as I see it personally. This is our restriction area. This is where we're restricted to. You know, a 5% restriction area. Again, 5% is good. You know, if you 10x that and you cut the top to ride the bottom. You know, if you see retracement back into 3382, again, if you see 3382, I'd rather do a lower leverage and then ride on it until, you know, bank on it or whatever. Obviously, not financial advice. Ride it down till 2,900. But again, I'm not you. In my opinion, oh yeah, 15-minute. What are we seeing? Oh yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Very slow descent towards here. Bang. Down we come, down we come, down we come, down we come. Boom. Oh, resistance into equilibrium. Down we come. Resistance. Oh, we found support. Bang. Long. Boom. All up we come. So you can do that on the lower time frame, but again, I'm talking on the 4 hour. I'm talking on the higher-ish time frames here, which is going to be us coming down towards 2,900 is what I see. So we've got about 3 minutes left. I have seen Om from Kishan. Now, I don't have any ranges drawn on Om, but I will look at it anyway. I will try my best. I might have previous TA on it, which probably hasn't gone well. Okay, I don't have any ranges. So what I'm going to do, I do not... Calculators makes things easier for me. It makes it a lot easier. I forgot to get rid of the box again. Hold on. Okay, what I'm going to do... give me 2 seconds. Just getting a calculator. Perfect. All right. I can draw some ranges now. And we can see how well Om is doing based on... Because I can still use ranges without drawing anything else, and it'll still work. So let's figure this out then. So what do we have? Just doing this now. Okay, so okay, this is going to be oops, that's the wrong thing. It's going to be a wider range. I'm going to draw this quite quickly because again, we've only got about a minute left. So I'll maybe I'll go 2 minutes over. I'm just going to do maybe one range, and then that's it. So that's... This is where I want to draw the 0. Now let's find the next range. Oh, of course it'll be 79. Is that drawn properly? This one is, but the other one isn't. Why is this not drawing properly? Because it goes from 1 to... I don't want to... I just want it to be smooth. Why can't I just make it do what I want it to do? It's because... I just have to write it out, I guess. I just want to copy it. There we go. There we go. Okay, I'm going to lock these now. All right, boom. And then, whoops, lock that, lock that. This is this right? Why does this look not right? Oh, I did 0, that's right, I'm my fault. There we go, now we can actually look at it. Okay, now we can look at it. Actually, this is probably better on the 4 hour. So, what do we see? Good equilibrium, good bounce of equilibrium. So what do we see? Okay, where's purple line? Purple line should be... Purple line here, boom, boom. Purple line should be here, I think it is. This is purple line. So what have we seen then? So pass into fair value gap, actually. So a good fair value gap. So let's kind of signify these ranges. So rejection blocks, order blocks, fair value gaps. If the candle is withheld in at least in this area, whether it be a wick into it, whatever, it will be valid. So in this case, we have big fair value gap, which spans into the fair value gap area. But this line also ties up to the purple area. So it seems like we've, surpassed, difficulty at the high, surpassed the high, retracement back down to the purple line, which also coincides with near this midpoint of the fair value gap. So something we've visited into the fair value gap, and now we've probably come up again. So I could see another moving upwards for Mantra. However, we do need to take into account what the market's doing. Now, again, to be fair, this, consider what the market's done and consider what this has done. Very different, very, very different story. So can I realistically apply exactly what the market's doing, considering this is completely different from what the market's doing? Oh, to be fair, Bitcoin has been going up. Obviously Solana's in a different story. Bitcoin has had a bit of a retracement back upwards. Ethereum is kind of hovering a bit. So technically, but even with this, this doesn't look any different. What do we see? We see over the whole period. What do we see? You see massive movement upwards. Bit of a flag thing going on here. Bit of a flag thing coming up here, which brings us towards the equilibrium at $6.30. So it just seems like we've had pump upwards, hoverage down, pump upwards, fair value gap, hoverage down. Looks like we might have another movement upwards. So external from markets, it would be moving upwards. Again, it depends on how diabolical we move down in terms of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. It could have an effect on the entire market. If obviously people seeing Bitcoin go below 100k and stay below 100k, coming up towards 92k, that's not a very nice thing to see in the market. So obviously that might signify to us, okay, this isn't a very good thing to be seeing. I'm going to kind of suggest to myself, we are in a bad situation in the crypto market as a whole. I might consider sell. So, and again, we are in a very high position for OM right now. And again, isn't without its reasoning. However, we are in a situation where we are, coming, it should in theory come up to equilibrium, but we have hit off equilibrium. So in theory, if this is to follow through, I would reckon it brings us to about $6.25, $6.29, $6.30. I think we then will see a retracement, maybe like a head and shoulders thing kind of going on, and then a retracement back down. Okay, so again, a good situation for in terms of short term. Again, it's really not following what the market's doing. So I don't feel that unconfident to say that I reckon we could go up again, even though the market's going down. Again, it's one of those things. It's not like the entire market's moving exactly in not in cadence. Yeah, cadence. I think in cadence with each other. Okay, Ing, I apologize, but you might see the countdown is at 0. I have gone 6 minutes over. I normally end the stream at 10. What I can do for you is either I can look at it on Monday, or I can look at it and post it on Telegram. So if you're not in Telegram already, I would suggest going to the description, joining there. If you just join Telegram, go to the trading area, say hello. Can you look at Cow and OPSEC? I believe that's OPSEC, yeah. If you just remind me what the coins are, I can try and have a look at them after the stream. So I would say that, because I will be ending the stream pretty much now, because again, I do not have a lot of time left. But if not, and you don't want to join Telegram or whatever, this or the other, I'll be coming back onto oh yeah, brilliant then. Fine, yeah, absolutely. Then just message it in the trading area quickly, and I'll try get around. I'll try post it in there. So yeah. So in terms of Kishan, it does look very promising. I do agree. It just encapsulating what I have in front of me. I'm on the 8 hour. I'm on the 8 hour for. It doesn't matter. Oh, it's even it's even better. Look at that. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Anyway, it looks like we've had a consequent encroachment, if you will. As they say. Oh wait, actually, it's actually wrong. It should be that. There, that's what it should be. Arguably. Arguably, this should be the fair value gap. Arguably. This is the fair value gap, arguably. And we've come into this fair value gap, arguably. But it's not really, because it's supposed to go up and it's supposed to come down. I don't like that. It's not very nice, that. I'd rather look at the 4 hour one, which has gone off to the midpoint. This makes me feel better inside. So I'd rather do that. There we go. Happy days. So it looks like we've had a fair value gap. It looks like we've had a nice area here. External from the market, if I was to just look at this. And again, I keep on trying to restate my point, because someone goes, oh, but the market's going down. Look, we've not done anything what the market's been doing the entire time. So what's to say we can't do what the market's doing again? So in terms of Kishan, my non-financial advice would be, I think it's going to go up a bit more. So it depends if you're holding. I don't know where you're holding from, but maybe keep on a tiny bit more. See if we can revisit that 6.3. If you're someone, Kishan, if you're more long and short, and I do know you long and short, what I could potentially suggest is maybe a long from here. Again, it doesn't look very advisable, and I would be careful, because again, look at where we are. But again, I'll zoom out even more and then say again, look at where we are. You know, look at where we are. What's been our movement? We've come up, equilibrium, boom, boom, boom. We've come up again, found resistance, equilibrium. I do think we'll come up again. So anyway, that's just my opinion. I don't have professional. Again, trade with your own volition. You know this, Kishan, already. You'll go anyway. I know you'll go, Kishan. So again, that's my opinion on really quick anyway. I had to draw the ranges really quick. I know we're nearly 9 minutes over now, 10 minutes basically. So I do apologise if I've kept you from your own lives. But thank you for spending time with me and going over the charts with me. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Kishan, Ing, thank you for being here. KB, thank you for being here. Velvet Rope as well. Shout out to you all. I appreciate it. Hidden Genders, you joined at the end. I do apologise. But thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys on Monday, and I'll see you guys especially on Wednesday, because that's going to be a big stream. You do not want to miss Wednesday. You do not want to miss Wednesday. And I don't know when. I'll keep you guys posted in Telegram. I do want to do a test stream. You know, a couple of people. I just need like a few people. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. How many people want to be here? I'm going to test the game on Wednesday. Okay, so if you do want to see what we're going to be doing on Wednesday, I will go over the game, the application, because I've made basically a YouTube game. So you can come onto YouTube, you can comment and play the game. So I do want to do a test. You know, maybe in the next days, whenever. So I'll probably put an unlisted stream. I'll put the link in Telegram. You guys can come join it and just test it out with me. I would really appreciate it. If you don't want to, again, it's just for me. It's to make sure that Wednesday goes smoothly, and to make sure that, you know, nothing goes wrong. Because I don't want a scenario where we start playing the game and then there's a bug in the game and then everyone loses their score and then we don't know who's won the game. You know, I just want to make sure that it works so that you guys can come play and whoever wins the game can earn the Mew. Okay, so I would really appreciate if someone could join that. And that's about it really. So thank you guys so much. Have a good weekend, Buggy. Have a good weekend to you, Kishan. Or KB, sorry, I read Kishan's message. Let me actually move on above here. There we go. Wait, whoa, why is my face so... Why is my face so zoomed in? Okay, I think I must have, because there's like gestures on the camera. I think if you do this or something. There we go, zoomed out now. There we go. And then if I do this, it should pause it. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what it was so zoomed in for. Anyway, thank you, KB. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend to you as well. Ing, I will look at it. I'll look at your charts in a second. I'll do some quick TA. If I don't do it now, I'll do it tomorrow morning. Because it's about 10:30 where I am right now. I do want to have a drink. Because my throat's a bit dry. 11 months almost. We love you, Kishan. Okay, we love Crystal Warehouse. We love you. We love you all. Well, thank you, Kishan. The true goat, to be fair, the actual true goat. Thank you guys so much. I'm really excited for Wednesday. Actually, I'm really excited because no one does this in crypto. No one's done this before. Okay, this is big. Okay, no one's done a YouTube game because obviously we do our quizzes. You know, we go, oh, what is this, that, the other, and Mew, and you guys, you know, you put it in the comments. It doesn't feel good, does it? You know, you play, it's like, oh, you know, what's the market cap of this coin? Oh, it's 89 billion. And then I have to scroll through the chat. It's like, oh, you're correct. I'll add you to the list. Well, that's not going to happen anymore because obviously we've got a little game going on. So we're going to test that soon. But no one's done this. No one's done this in crypto. Okay, no one has done a crypto quiz with a game attached to it. So I'm excited. I'm excited to try it out. Hopefully it goes all well when we do the test stream. But again, the test stream is there for me to make sure that it works for Wednesday. So I really appreciate if anyone can join that. I'm yapping. I've said the same thing over again. Thank you guys. I appreciate you all for spending even longer with me on the stream. And yeah, thank you. See you guys some point before Monday and Wednesday. Thank you. Goodbye. Bye-bye. out.